I'm ready.
So, Guitar Hero, continue. This is the chit chat part of the show until everybody's here. Hi, everybody. I'll do the intro when everyone's here.
No, let's just do it.
I guess
we gotta do the chit chat. But no, I think let's introduce everybody because then everyone's gonna be like, "Who's Phil?"
Cat's like, "Who's Phil?"
Me too.
Phil's replacing Brandt and Mike. So this is like a hostile takeover week 2 plus. He's taking over for everybody's spot. That's not okay. Fine. Wants me to do it. I'll do the intro. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Comic Book Weekly. You know the main crew. I'm Chris, Dark Avenger C86. Next to me over there is Cat Comic Uno.
Hey, guys.
Diagonal from me is Mike, the only one that doesn't do comics on his channel due to Rock 18.
Hey guys, do Rock 18.
Who's Phil? You'll find
out. Pending.
So before we introduce Phil, Mike couldn't be here this week, and Brandt will be with us momentarily, hopefully.
He's
eating dinner, so he will be with us. But underneath me, we have Phil Falco, who is going to be our guest this week. We're going to be talking about his awesome Kickstarter, and he's going to be sticking around with us as we do our awesome Q&A, and we talk about some news. So before we get into news or Q&A, whoa, things just like the chat.
That was me trying to share his Kickstarter.
There you go.
Why are you trying to call me out like that?
No, I mean, the chat literally just went like that, and I'm like, whoa, that's a lot of people.
I know, it did that for me too. Like, whoa.
I think this is a new viewer here. Chris Austin, welcome. Share with your friends.
But yes, we're going to be chit-chatting for a little while as we wait for Brandt to join, and it'll only be for a little while, and then we will probably jump into Phil's Kickstarter, and then we'll get into news, and then you all are welcome to throw out some questions for us, for Phil, if you'd like to ask him questions about his Kickstarter. And as always, we will have our awesome chat until new comic books come out, which it's part of the news, so I don't want to get into that in our chit chat. But I mean, a certain company might have helped push Diamond to start shipping again sooner rather than later.
We'll see. It's definitely not this week, sadly. Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be next week. I kind of hope it's not, because like I always am very busy on Wednesdays, and I have an interview that day. I'm just like,
interview.
I don't want to do it next Wednesday, because then like, what do I do then? But yeah, we'll see. If it's the Wednesday after, that's cool. I just want comics back. That would be nice.
I have a good question to start chit chat. Phil, what are you reading in comics right now?
Ooh, good question.
Right now, I'm really big on the Buffyverse comics that Boom is producing.
Oh, Buffy's good. Buffy's doing good.
Yeah. I'm playing catch up a little bit with the Batman titles mainly right now. I've fallen off a little bit, so just trying to catch up on those, and then I'll fill out around that.
Okay, so you're literally starting at one point, and then you're going to branch out.
Yeah, that's the way it always works for me.
Same with me. I started with Superman, and that got me into Justice League. Then I got into Ultimate Spider-Man, which brought me into Amazing Spider-Man, which brought me into the event. It became a domino effect. So I totally
comics are good for that.
I will say that Phil's birthday's coming up, and I ordered some comics for him. Because any present I get for him for like a birthday or Christmas, it's always comics. So
you bought him Runaways, didn't you?
I already did that.
Oh, you already did that?
He's already done that.
I'm so sorry, Phil.
No, he likes Runaways.
Do we not like Runaways?
I love Runaways.
No. We don't hate Runaways, but we love to bug Cat about Runaways.
Brandt really likes Runaways. Okay. I really like Runaways. Everyone else is just...
I'm behind on it.
Chris is never going to catch up on Runaways.
Probably
not.
Not.
Runaways is great. I got Phil, I think, and Mimi, who I guess we'll say how I know Phil is actually...
That's a good way. Yeah.
So if you've seen Mimi on this channel before, she's been on Media Madness. I went to college with Mimi, and she, not to tell her whole life story, but she's from Staten Island, and I'm from Staten Island. So we just kind of met through that, like literally college orientation. And we're talking about Vampire Diaries and all this stuff. I'm like, cool, college is awesome. You get to talk about TV a lot. Yeah, I became friends with Mimi, and then Phil was friends with Mimi since middle school. So I guess you could start from your side, Phil, of how you knew me and all that fun jazz.
Yeah, as you said, I've known Mimi since middle school. She's probably the only person I still talk to from middle school because she's just so easy to get along with. And
she is. I hope she's watching now. We sent her the link.
She's definitely watching. She needs to support me. And I actually I had actually seen Pat from her YouTube channel because I'd heard about a comic reviewer on Staten Island, so I had to support my hometown. And when Mimi said that she knew you, I got a little starstruck. I was like, oh, she knows a celebrity? And then I met Kat and realized she's not a celebrity at all.
No. I just put up a front.
None of us are celebrities.
It's a hype train. So the first time I met Phil was Mimi invited him to our college, and Phil did not go to our college. So
I was pretty close though. I was only a few blocks away.
Yeah. So then we just chatted comics, and throughout the years became friends and chatted comics more. And Phil was making a comic, so I helped him out with that, and we talked stories way too much. I literally called him today in the middle of work. I was just like, "Hey, I'm writing this comic now. Can you help me out?" And I'm like, "Are you busy?" And he's like, "Yeah, I could talk for like 10 minutes."
I was like, "Oh, I'm just working. No worries."
No, it's not important. Sure.
Ironically, I was working too, and I was like, "That's not important. I need to talk about my script right now."
We learned today that Kat only gets work when she's working on a script. Otherwise, she has nothing to do for work.
Yeah, this coronavirus has been killing me.
To be fair right now, this show is 100% New York.
Shit, until Brent ruins
We're 100% New York. Wow.
Don't let Brent on.
We just won't allow Brent to come on. We said he was like an honorary New Yorker, though, for some reason. I don't know why.
Because he fit in with us.
But he doesn't deserve it because he's nothing like a New Yorker.
Wow.
He's like actually the complete opposite of a New Yorker.
He's too nice.
He is, honestly. Like, where are you from? So yeah, we have a couple of questions here. Tavia asked me, "Do you have any game? Like,
she got game.
I have game in general, but got game. Video games.
Games.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I have game and games, and that's about it. I don't know. I play Super Smash Brothers a lot. Call of Duty. I have been playing Animal Crossing because of Phil, and I haven't played in a couple of days. And ironically, Mimi, who doesn't play video games at all, is the one who's like all in. I'm just
God, yeah. She's playing more than I do, which is crazy.
I've been on Call of Duty. I'm not buying the next game. I'm not getting the Battle Pass. No, I am not getting the next Battle Pass because I bought last Battle Pass and I found out it was only 10 days left. So I was like, wow. Thank you.
What is it? Do you get extra maps on that or something?
It's extra it's extra cosmetics.
I don't need that shit.
Yeah, I figured that out after. It's not like Fortnite. It's pretty different.
I don't need a cosmetic. I just need to shoot some people. That's it. Yeah. And I hope people do not take that out of context.
But it's on. But wait, you play on what? Xbox or PlayStation?
Yeah, Xbox.
Okay, I'm on Xbox too. Then it's okay. I did see this comment. I just want to answer it real quick. Got a few recommendations this week. I bought God Country paperback and Swamp Thing Volume 1 from the New 52. Hopefully they're as good as people say. I did get God Country. I'm not going to review it right now because I am planning on doing a trade review of it. But let me just say I've read both now, Swamp Thing Volume 1 and God Country. Don't think either one is going to disappoint you, Chad. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to save it for the review. But Swamp Thing we've talked about and we loved it. So I will say that. I love Swamp Thing from the new
Animal Man's a good tie in there if you want to pick that up next.
Animal Man's really good. I got into Animal Man more than Swamp Thing. I think because of like the family stuff I enjoyed.
I was going to say.
You know me very well.
The only reason I'm reading Justice League Dark the past 2 issues is because the possibility that the Rot's back and they've already brought Animal Man in and Swamp Thing's already part of Justice League Dark. So it's like, nope.
He is? He's in the current one?
Swamp Thing's in Justice League Dark. Yeah, hold on. I have the cover for it.
No, Animal Man.
Oh, no. Animal Man was in the last issue. Yeah.
Oh.
I haven't liked any run of Justice League Dark, so let me know if this one's worth picking up.
Michael loved Justice League Dark.
Michael read the first part and he dropped it because it was very dialogue.
No, like the new 52's Justice League Dark was really, really good. This new run that was out, it was good until it went the downward slope. So I would highly recommend you get the new 52.
Well, he said he didn't like it. He hasn't liked the run yet. He wants to know.
Yeah, I read the first volume of New 52. Maybe I need to give it a little bit more of a chance than I do. I just think it took a little too long to set up for me. But
because it picks up a little bit as the story continues.
Yeah, I like the characters, so I'll probably give it another shot.
He's going to clip that, put it on the.
I hope not. Don't put me out of context. So I guess as we wait for Brant, we'll go further into the Kickstarter stuff. But let's for the 15 people that are watching right now, and hopefully more come in. Phil, tell us a little bit about this Kickstarter you got going on.
Alrighty. So right now, my comic is live on Kickstarter. It's called Haunting. Let me just flash it for you.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah, I have to figure out lighting. I'm very new to videos. So it's a supernatural horror comic, and we follow a bratty and irresponsible teen named Brom, who unintentionally raises the dead wherever he goes.
It's Brom? It's not
Brom.
Bram?
Julius always says Bram, and then he got me saying Bram, which is really bad because I wrote it. But I'm trying to correct myself whenever I talk now.
Julius has a lot of different storylines for Brom that does not exist, but we're all. I'm here for what Julius. If you're watching, please say you love us.
I am going to screen share the Kickstarter right now.
And there it is. You made your goal.
You made it.
Did you just get another backer?
Like right before this started, yeah.
Oh, nice.
He's way past his goal now. He's at 1,800. Woo! It's already back. So look at that. It's already back. So if you back it now, you are going to get the book.
And you have the book in your hand, so it shows that you printed it already.
There is no risk. You will get your book. So right now, guaranteed rewards. If you help us hit our stretch goals, you'll be able to get a print in addition for no extra charge.
I'm going to try to stretch goals.
We have one print at the $3,000 mark, and then the stretch goals are all the way at the bottom. But thank you for showing my beautiful art here.
Sorry, I had to cover your face with Julius.
I shouldn't have done that. I should start from here and slowly go down. So this way everybody can see the art in the book.
All right. So anyway, back to my pitch that Cat derailed.
What?
I'm just playing. We follow Brom, who raises the dead wherever he goes. He spent his whole life taking no responsibility for it, just ignoring all of the death and destruction that he indirectly causes, as you could probably tell from the pages we're scrolling past. But soon his past is going to catch up with him when a man that he has wronged corners him in a town with an innocent bystander, and shenanigans will ensue. So if you're a fan of ghosts, horror stories, or just bratty teenagers, I recommend checking it out. And issue 2, which we're showing some clips of, images of here, is already in the works. So there's guaranteed to be more very soon.
Nice. And it gets really good. It is good already. One thing I love about the first issue is that, and yes, I have read the first, second. Have I read the third?
You read the script for the third, yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, I like the shirt. Look at that. There's a shirt tier. I'm a shirt fanatic. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Yeah. If I had the shirt right now, I would be wearing it, but it's coming
next
soon.
Kickstarter.
Here we go.
If you don't mind, here we got the stretch goals. So you can get some prints here at the 3,000 and the 6,000 mark. And then our big stretch goal is delivery of issue 2. So we'll see if we hit that at the big one. Okay, so if you wouldn't mind scrolling up, Chris, just a little bit.
Sure. How much?
Just want to show off our, just right above the stretch goals. I just want to show off our variant cover.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Faith right there.
Very big fan of this. This is our secondary lead, Faith, who is unlucky enough to get caught in Brom's crosshairs and become brought into his world unintentionally. Kat's a very big fan of Faith, and so am I. So really looking forward to continuing to introduce her to everybody.
I do love Faith. I think she's such an interesting character. Also, ironically, we both have characters named Faith before we even start talking about each other's comics. We both have characters named Faith in our comics. But yeah, no, I love Faith. And another character that's going to show up, I am so excited for. Phil knows. I can't say much. Tight lips. I'm not saying anything, but there's another character that I'm very, very excited to see. But yeah, Faith is cool. Brom is cool as well. And yeah, it's what I was going to say is that the first issue, it's very much about atmosphere. And I think horror kind of forgets about that sometimes. They go straight into, the action. So it's kind of cool.
Kind of like the movies nowadays where everything's jump scares and less horror.
Exactly. And I think so much with horror is ambiance.
Yeah.
It's hard, but you can. I'm sure.
I'm sure. That was that page turn. But yeah, definitely agree. I wanted to focus very heavily on atmosphere in the first issue. Not to the detriment of character work, but I think our second issue is where we really get into the heavy character work. So I hope you'll consider checking it out. We're very proud of what we've done, and we hope that to bring more people along to introduce you to it.
Yeah. I do have one question. What inspired you to write this story? Like how did you like say like this is the story I want to write about? Like what inspired you to write about the character and the story itself?
It didn't actually start as a horror comic. It really started when I was in college. I was doing a lot of thinking about your typical protagonist, and especially in comics as a medium, I think protagonists tend to be sin eaters. They tend to carry the weight of the world on their shoulders and often take responsibility for. Hi, Brent.
Hey, what's going on?
There's Brent. Hi, Brent.
Anyway, I feel that the protagonist often takes responsibility for things that maybe they shouldn't, that aren't their fault, like people they don't save or villains they indirectly create. I wanted to explore a protagonist who unquestionably causes death and pain and destruction, but takes no responsibility for it, and explore that character arc of learning to take responsibility for it if he can over time, learning that he is hurting people and trying to change. I don't know if he'll ever be able to get there, but it's definitely something I want to explore. And then, sorry, Kat, go ahead.
No, you go. I have another question, so you go and you continue if you had something else to say.
Yeah, the ghost just came in because I'm such a big horror fan. I really love a good ghost story, so I thought that would be a really great element to bring in to be the pain point for what causes all of the pain that Brom sets loose on the world.
I was going to ask, what do you feel like you learned through this creating a comic book experience and I guess Kickstarters in general?
Definitely learned that there's a lot of more pieces to it than I thought. I mean, I think from looking at a comic, seeing all of the names, all of the different artists whose work go into it, but every single step, every single panel is so painstaking, so much attention to detail needs to be put into each step of it. So you really can't rush it. I mean, I started work on the first issue almost a year ago, this May, and it's only just ready. So I have a new appreciation for comics as an industry and how quickly they're able to put out quality work.
For sure.
Definitely. You got me as a backer. I just backed it. I saved that for the show live.
Oh, cool.
Oh, thank you, Chris.
That's my first live backer. I'm going to play this before I go to bed every night.
Well, that means that everyone in this live show right now, except Michael, are comic writers, which is awesome. You got a comic. So everybody in the chat, you have comic writers here. So there's really good questions that can be thrown out tonight.
Yeah, please do.
If you have questions about music, you can go to Michael.
Or not.
He does Nintendo. He should be called Dude of Nintendo 18. I vote for him to change his name.
How about the copyright? I mean, even though he would not have a copyright issue at all, but just pretending that he would. I think you should be Dude of Nintendo.
Yeah.
Or Dude of Nintendo World.
Oh,
if they're almost
Dude of Nintendo World, that'd be so cool because you got World in your name then.
Mm-hmm.
I like Dude of
That could be the announcement though, Michael. Which also you need to announce that.
Cool.
Yeah, you're only 3 subscribers away. I've been promoting Michael more than he has. But Michael is only 3 subscribers away from 2,600, is it?
Yep. And if I reach that goal, I have a very special 2,600 subscriber video.
Again, he's changing his name.
No, I'm not going to.
You're only 2 subscribers away now.
Oh,
cool.
Phil, subscribe.
Oh, Phil,
subscribe.
Thank you.
Nice.
There we go.
Thank you.
I'll do this for a little while.
But
go subscribe.
But I do video game videos and other videos as well. So definitely subscribe me. I got great content that I'm going to be adding to my videos, and it will be really amazing and an honor for all of you to subscribe to me and entertain you guys for almost 13 years that I've been on YouTube. It's a really huge accomplishment. And yeah, subscribe to the Dark Venue Series 6, of course. Chris always had it. But I really would appreciate it. And if I see that, I'm just going to grab my camera right away and just film because it's awesome.
And then he's going to do one of these.
Chris still in the thunder.
No, my brother, I said right there, he's 3 subs away.
Yeah, and then you say subscribe to your channel.
He always does that, always.
I know, always.
And I told Chris this earlier. He has subscribers. So I tell everyone, hey, glad you subscribed to my channel. Go to his channel. He never thanked me once. Never.
Oh, you liar. You liar.
Go subscribe. It's gonna be great. You're gonna love the content. No music, guys. He doesn't like rock and roll.
I did Guitar Hero. It's in the playlist. There are playlists of each category.
I don't know. I don't think it counts.
Oh,
So just that's it.
Mike Manhattan, Mike Gold, and I have been on YouTube for about 20 years through doing Brooklyn Boys 13.
Are you? Oh, together, you're saying,
Together,
right?
together.
Okay. Because I was going to say, you're a liar.
Is it the same year? Okay, so then we've been around for 13 years altogether, too. Okay. I thought we were a little bit longer.
Yep,
You guys are teenagers. But
Feels
let's get into some news here because we are talking about Kickstarters, and our thumbnail is that Todd McFarlane launched his Kickstarter and it is up to over 10,000 backers, a million, pretty much 1.4 million. It's like 200 away from 1.4 million.
Did he get to another stretch goal?
He might have. I don't know.
I know there are 2 stretch goals unlocked.
Only 2? Okay, so he didn't do his next one.
Did he expect $1 billion for the last one? I mean, what was he? That's crazy.
No, I think he was surprised that he scrambled to get those stretch goals out like super quick.
Oh man! Oh, you mean he probably did it later on, and it wasn't
right?
He
didn't expect
there.
it, I don't think so. Now that's why he's scrambling to get more stretch goals out.
Yeah. I think the first 2 have been pretty great so far.
Are you a backer, Phil?
I'm not a backer yet, but I'm almost definitely gonna back.
I'm the only one here that's backed this project.
I'm not a Spawn fan. I'm sorry.
I'm not really a
no
Spawn
action
fan either,
figure.
but it's just so cool. I gotta.
I know it's tempting. It's like you just be part of that.
He
But
put metal chains on it, and anyone who backs the triple pack gets all 5 heads now. I mean, what?
So you're saying that if I want to get $1 million, all I need to do is put on some metal chains. I'm gonna go out and get some metal chains.
$1 million. If you get $1 million and you want more, put on the metal chain.
Oh, okay.
it might help if your name's Todd McFarlane too.
And it might help.
No, I don't think
on
so.
Spider-Man and Batman and created a character that
I could draw Spider-Man and Batman.
Can you do it right now?
Get me my Bob Ross. Anyone in the
Sure.
chat, share a Bob Ross picture right now with the really. Please.
Look at the clouds. What is stuff he says in his videos? I don't know.
It's the what pretty trees.
Yeah, what pretty trees.
Bob Ross. I love Bob Ross.
Happy trees. Happy
trees. Happy clouds.
Bob Ross is awesome in everything in art.
Look
I
at
thought
this.
you were trying to pick out you and Phil, not Bob Ross. Todd is the guy we're trying to pimp out because he obviously needs more.
Yeah, he needs all the help he can get.
$1 million. I might be a backer, so I'm not screen sharing.
It literally just went up. He's like $22 away from 1.4 now.
Well, now Phil's gonna back it up, and he'll be fine.
I'll bring it right up there. Soon he's gonna be able to cover the national debt.
Oh, probably, honestly, but everyone just get a Spawn figure.
I feel like somebody in the news is going to be like, "Look at these people giving $1 million for a figure, yet our national debt."
Well, one thing, it says Kickstarter is not dead in this current climate, so
no, it is not. It is still booming.
And one question we have from Tevia, which I mean, obviously we don't have the answer, but we could speculate. Why did he need to kickstart it? I mean.
In his video,
I didn't. Does he? What did he say?
Okay.
I didn't.
He said the reason he went for the Kickstarter is because back in the 90s when Spawn first came out, Todd McFarlane would sell a bulk of his toys to outlets, KB Toys. I think he mentioned Toys R Us. He mentioned a few toy shops, and then he said now that those shops have all gone out, he wanted a way to get the figures to the fans. He wanted to remake them because obviously it's about 20 years later, so articulation. Molds, sizes have all changed. So now he wants to release a quality figure, but at the same time, no store, no comic shop orders just one. They want like a whole bulk, and he didn't want to do that. So this way, with people backing him, number one, he could get the figures made. Number two, it could get to the fans that want the figures. And then number three, he could take those figures later and then sell them one at a time to shops instead of having to fulfill a humongous order in order to make the figure to begin with.
Also right now there's no other sales channels, right? I mean, that's
what he meant. He beat all the sales chains out. They're gone.
Yeah. So I mean, Kickstarter is the one constant right now when you're used to all these collectible shops and stuff being around. It's just not the ideal time to be putting it in chain stores and things like
And
that, right?
ideal time put on Kickstarter, obviously, because I mean, also like just going to Comic Cons. Like I remember I was at the Image booth for some reason. Just I don't know. I think I just was trying to kill time, and I was like, oh, what's this line for? And I found out Spawn. I'm like, oh, I guess I'll line up, maybe get it if it's worth it. The line was like almost a whole Javits Center. It was so big.
Fans, yeah.
And people go crazy. They're yelling at each other. This is my spot. This is my spot. I'm like, dude. It's
Todd McFarlane has a humongous fan base. It's amazing and it's crazy, but he's such a great guy to the fans.
Oh yeah, I'm happy definitely for his success, and it's just like mind blowing how much he's gotten. Also, I want to say that Phil is now at 64 backers, and he's only $100 away from 2,000. So if you guys can go support that Kickstarter,
come on, guys, let's get that.
Yeah, let's get to that 2,000.
A funny backstory for me: when I started on YouTube, and he's a friend of Brandt's too. Chris Dawkin Howlett was a huge Spawn fan, and I like Spawn, but I only had a few issues here and there. He's the one that actually inspired me to get the first 100 issues, which I now have. Of Spawn, so and I just became a huge fan until Jim Downing came around. Then I left the book for a little while, came back when Al came back. So
we try to talk about it on the show. Sometimes I know Chris is usually more the religious one. Sometimes Mike or Brandt will, mostly Mike would read it. But we do have a question about Phil's.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say we have a question about Phil's Kickstarter. So Chad asks, any options for Haunting get autographed? So are they going to be autographed or are they not going to be autographed, Phil, when you give them?
I hadn't considered that. I mean, I could definitely put an option in there. You know, if you want an autographed copy, I can definitely autograph yours. Or if you want a clean copy, no autograph. That's a good suggestion. I'll definitely keep that in mind. Thank you.
You can put it in the survey. So usually in the end, you'll have an option. So want it signed, not want it signed. It might get a little confusing for you, but I mean, it'll be very helpful. Or you just sign them all. You love confusion?
I
don't.
Confused.
Just gonna call Kat up. She'll go over. She'll help him out. There you go.
Oh yeah.
No, I'll sign it for him.
For her to help me.
Sign it for. She's gonna forge your signature.
She's gonna put her name on the book. That's what she's gonna do.
Yeah, of course.
Sign her book. We'll do like a book exchange. We could trade faiths, Kat.
We can. Well, like. What we can't even spoil about our fates either. I'm like, what would you do with mine? I mean, you could if you wanted to. I don't care. But my next cover is literally going to spoil all of it, which I'm so excited.
I'm excited.
And yes, I read Haunt. I read Haunt, Mike. Man,
I read some of it. Yeah,
that was good.
So let's get to the next. And also, guys, definitely keep on coming with the questions, Kickstarter stuff, writing stuff, comic stuff, whatever. So next up is that Kevin Conroy did a live reading of Batman the Anime series. People are bored. Kevin Conroy was bored. He wanted to read some Batman the Anime series. I thought it was cool. They did one for Legend of Korra, which was a little bit more special for me because I'm like, oh my God, we finally get to see the voices of this. Like, I feel like Kevin Conroy, he does so much Batman. It's like, oh, I've seen this a billion times. But like with Korra, it's like, oh my God, that was like kind of a special thing. But I mean, it's always cool to see him do that type of stuff.
I'm all on board for this trend, seeing voice actors come back and read, expanded media from their franchises. I haven't
what do you want to see next?
You put him on the spot.
I mean, that's what I do. I ask good questions.
Justice League.
Justice League is good. I want to get an out of the box pick, so I'm going to come back to you later.
Okay.
I want X-Men Evolution.
I want X-Men.
You know what?
90s?
Get out.
I
don't need an Australian Wolverine. No, X-Men Evolution all day. The comics, just read them out.
Evolution was all right.
X-Men 90s still the best theme song.
Yes.
I could agree with that. Evolution didn't have the best theme song, but it had the best themes.
90s.
No, I could agree with that, actually.
No, I'm just going to disagree.
We do have a question from Tevia. What do we think of Sam Raimi directing Doctor Strange? I feel like we've talked about this in our previous show.
We did.
About Tobey
Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire. Yeah, it was about a week or two ago.
Toby even said, "I'm coming back, maybe." I'm like,
yeah, we did talk about
a week or two ago.
So there's your answer. Let's go to Brant. Did you have anything else to say about Kevin Conroy?
About Kevin Conroy? I just wish it was better material. I just was not a fan of that particular comic. But it is cool seeing him come back and do any kind of voice stuff. So.
Yeah, I haven't been a fan, sadly, of these latest chapters. We'll see if that ends up changing. There's just nothing else to read, so I'm like, okay, I guess I'll I'll read the next chapter. All right, let's go into. Oh,
I just got to address Cerny. He said it's not the best theme song because there's no lyrics to it, but it's the best score. Okay, we'll clarify.
Score. There we go.
And is Jim really the best theme song?
No, come on. Only when Mike Spider Slayer sings it.
Yeah, when he's dressed
awesome.
up as Jem, that's different. That was the best theme song or best rendition of Jem for sure. So let's get into some movie news here. We got the first look of Dune. I don't know anything about this. I just know that there's people staring at the ground. There's nothing else really going on. There's a lot of gray in the background. Looks really exciting. Good stuff.
Honestly, I don't remember much about Dune either. I remember reading it as a kid, but I don't remember anything. But I remember watching the movie, and I've tried to rewatch it, and it's really boring. But there's a lot of big names in this movie, so it's got me a little more curious. I mean, you got Batista's in it. You got Skarsgård from Thor. You've got Zendaya, Jason Momoa. But then is it going to be like Cats where they just got all these big names and no one knows how? And then it's just like, possible. What was this movie?
Jason Momoa not know how? I doubt it.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't like Aquaman. Phil knows that.
You're the minority to the majority that loved it.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, you could see it on her face while she was watching it.
Hey, Jesse.
Good.
What's up, Jesse?
We saw an advance screening for that, too.
Oh, yeah.
And you had to not like it. No,
we didn't. Well, I didn't. I think I was telling Phil and Julius my feelings so much. I feel like I brought them down a little bit of their hype. Like as we were walking and talking, I was just like, "You're right." I'm like, yeah, I'm right. I'm always right. All right, you're not alone. See, there we go.
Don't give Cat more. Don't.
I'm not featuring anyone else who says it's fantastic. They don't count.
I do like this comment. I gotta share this. Unfortunately, Amber.
Yeah, we're not using her again.
She got fired though.
Did she?
Not.
Yeah,
I mean, she should be if she wasn't.
She was
fired. I'm pretty sure she was. Yeah.
All over Twitter last night that she was fired, and I'm like, why? And then I started seeing stuff, and I'm like, I don't care anymore. Okay, she was fired.
Julius, you're a liar. But also, all right. So Julius, Julius also.
Hi, Julius.
He falls asleep.
He didn't say hi.
He does. Yeah. He said he loved us. So that was better than a hi.
He did.
He did. He said he loved us. But yeah, Julius, there's two versions of him liking a movie. Either he loves a movie and he's obsessed with it, or he falls asleep. So there's no middle.
You didn't say hi. Not Julius didn't say hi. I said you didn't say hi.
I don't need to say hi.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's Julius, I didn't mean you. I know you. I saw the I love you guys from before. That was fine.
I said I love him. Okay. Isn't that good enough?
No. You say hi. I love you too.
Okay. Well, let's get into our next topic here, which is let's do Netflix orders Jeff Lemire Sweet Tooth to series. There's actually a lot of Netflix news this week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious how they're going to pull it off because I don't know if anybody remembers Sweet Tooth, but it's like this boy with antlers and there's all these weird mutated people. I read some of it. It was pretty good. I'm not a huge Jeff Lemire fan, so his indie stuff is a little weird for me.
You
sometimes.
Even dropped Family Tree. I'm so upset.
I did.
I don't understand it. All right, so Phil, let me just tell you about this comic called Family Tree. A girl
does this.
A girl turns into a tree.
I love
so
it.
Exciting.
I'm sold.
Thrilling, yeah.
Yeah, but how did she turn to a tree?
Oh, there's so much to it.
That's where I start losing interest when you start finding out.
It's so amazing. Like it's like you start from page to page, and you want to just keep reading it, and you can't put it down. It's just that awesome.
Except for Brent, he put it down and then said, "I'm chopping it."
I don't understand how.
He chopped down that tree so quick.
Mm-hmm. I did.
And it said timber as it was falling down.
No, he's gonna read more. That's what I heard.
We'll see. If I get bored with no new comics coming out, maybe I'll give it a shot again. But no, I don't know. His stuff starts off strong for me, and then I just lose interest. So,
Silver Stroke says it's like 13th year crossed with the Giving Tree. I didn't see I didn't see that comparison.
Oh my god,
but
13th year.
Yeah, like 13th year was a fun movie. He turns into a mermaid. Merman. Merman. All right. So, question from Jesse. I'm so sorry. So she's a tree and just stands there for the rest of the book. I mean,
No.
yes,
She mutates into a tree.
Slowly. She's got a branch growing out of her back. I mean, it's weird. I don't know.
It's
She's
cool.
not like Luchasaurus looking for a tail.
Oh my god.
She just she just stands there a little bit and she's like, I'm gonna give into the tree. And that's what the book's about. You should go check it out. But let's get into the next topic, which is Boom Studios gets an exclusive deal with Neftlix. I'm excited for this. There's so many Boom Studios. Did I make you read Heavy Vinyl, Phil?
You did.
That's a Boom Studios book.
Yep.
Did you like it?
Yes, I did. I want some Heavy Vinyl and Lumberjanes. Netflix, get on it.
You
I
know,
think
Lumberjanes
Lumberjanes is becoming a show.
Mouseguard got it. And
Oh, it is already?
Mm-hmm. What were you saying, Chris?
I was saying Mouseguard got a contract with Netflix, and they were supposed to have a movie, and they lost it when Disney bought. I forgot, was it Fox? They were going to have a movie with Fox, and then Disney bought Fox, and they canceled Mouseguard. So Mouseguard's getting a Netflix series now. Cindy's happy. I'm happy. I like it.
That's cool. Yeah, there's so many cool things. I think with Heavy Vinyl, especially Lumberjanes with the She-Ra creator, Phil.
Okay.
Yeah, so I saw the animation. I thought that was really interesting.
So many of their slice of life things would fit so perfectly on Netflix. They can do so many different things.
Could you imagine if they do Claws, Brent?
Oh, Claws would
I
be
can see
awesome.
that.
And
I see a
Red Mother,
movie.
I think would be a really good.
Red Mother.
Right?
Oh my god, I
Yeah.
would die. Love Red
So-
Mother. That's the only
And-
comic me and Bran agree on.
The only comic.
Yeah,
That's
only
not
one.
true.
Runaways too.
Yeah.
Chris was hating on Runaways before pre-show.
Chris is always hating on Runaways.
Something
He doesn't
killing the
even read it.
children.
Something's
He
killing
needs to read
children.
Yeah, that's a good.
That's a
book,
good one.
Killing the Children, from what I heard.
I have not read it, but yeah, I've heard
I've
good
not
things.
read it either yet.
Slasher. I read the first issue. It wasn't quite surprisingly not my thing. I love slashers, but
You have
James
to give it a
Tynion.
few issues.
Yeah. You have to get a definitely. Did you read Something's Killing Children, Phil, or no?
Yeah, I read the first, I think, 3 issues. I fell off of it, but I liked what I read. Definitely think it would be good to adapt, though, into a TV series.
We have a question from Mike Manhattan. Who should play Klaus? So, Phil, he's Grant Morrison's version of Santa Claus.
That's a tough
You know
one.
what? Arnold Schwarzenegger put a beard on.
No.
German
Dude.
accent. Yes.
God,
Google.
Too old.
William Klaus. Get down.
no. Come
No.
on.
Get to the
If you want to ruin it from the very start, sure.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of like some. Oh, The Rock could be interesting.
No, you want to ruin it from the start?
No.
No.
The latest
What are you talking about? The Rock is at least a good actor.
Yeah. And I'm
He's
thinking
been
people like
laying
with
the
the face
smackdown in too many
Arnold?
movies.
Did you say so is Arnold?
Arnold was great in
He's
kindergarten.
old. No, he was
Are you
not.
kidding me?
Hey, Kindergarten Cop was good.
He
No,
sucks.
he's
Good.
good in that
So
movie.
was he
He was good in Terminator because he barely had to say anything.
You know they used to
Oh,
dub
God.
him. They used to dub his
Did they
voice
really?
before Terminator.
Wow.
What was
I did
the?
not
I believe it.
Was it Hercules? No, it wasn't Hercules.
No,
No,
Hercules was the
Conan.
Rock.
He was Conan.
Conan. Conan. They dubbed him. Yeah.
Conan,
And then
yeah.
they undubbed him, and then I wish they dubbed him again.
Yeah. Well, let's get to the next stuff, unless we have more Boom Studios Netflix talk.
Arnold was good in Twins too. I agree.
This is only from my. Oh, we're gonna say, Brian.
I was going to say he's better in the comedic stuff.
Yes. In the
Yeah, I would
Jingle
say
all
so.
the way.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
you guys suck.
Oh, Jingle All the Way. Why didn't I even think of that movie? Yeah.
So let's go on to Michael's favorite topic, Sonic the Hedgehog. I didn't read the article, so I have nothing to say.
Perfect. There you go.
No,
Ooh,
thinking
I
about
like
that one.
that. Ooh,
Okay.
I like that.
Okay. I'll give you that one.
Yeah. So I read the article that they have a new ride for Sonic, and what I read about is actually something that is. It makes me want to like read the book because it's after the whole.
Well, you're gonna read it either
zombie-
way, I'm guessing.
Well, yeah, it was after. It's like after the Zombot effect happened and all that, and
You're killing Phil, Mike.
Oh, sorry. I dropped my water bottle somewhere. Keep talking.
You don't have to lie.
like,
Phil, it's okay.
what I like is that they're going into now the Omega, the robot that was on Team Dark, and about how they're going to be working on his side of the story a little bit, and then you got other characters who are going to jump in too. And it really, when I was reading about it, it sounds really promising, and I'm just hoping that the new writer that's going to be doing Sonic will bring that promise to it, because I've been reading so many comic issues of Sonic, and it has not once at all disappointed me. So I'm really just hoping that the new writer of this will bring lots of joy as it has from reading all the other Sonic the Hedgehog comic books. It's just, I just hope people get what they want for those who are reading Sonic the Hedgehog, such as myself.
Hopefully, not that owl mother from the movie.
The Owl Mother wasn't that bad. I mean, I actually felt bad how she died. They had two ways.
Spoiler alert.
She died. No. The deleted scene was when she died because of her health and everything. And then the second one was the one in the movie theaters where the Knuckles-like clans went to and killed her.
All I know is that after I went to see that movie, I had an inkling that I should buy an apartment and also go to Olive Garden. It's strange.
No, that was funny. I actually was at Olive Garden. I'm looking like saying, I was just there recently. Like, oh my god.
And then they're like, I need to go again because Sonic loves Olive Garden.
Yeah, if you use code word Sonic, you get 10% off your meal.
I gotta do that.
It's not true. Let's get into.
That'd be kind of funny.
That wasn't true.
I'm sorry. I mean, you could try.
Totally would have done it.
If I was working there, I would.
Funny, Cat,
I'd cover you.
I'm so sorry. Next
True,
time.
Michael. Don't listen to Kat. She doesn't know. She doesn't. Eat
No,
it.
I lied, honestly. Like, I don't eat at Olive Garden, so.
They got good salad.
Do they? I feel
It's
like
really good salad.
I feel like they wouldn't.
Eat salad. Take me to Outback. Get a bloomin' onion.
Oh, all those.
Oh, I love.
suck.
I'll take that all day.
I'll take
What
that.
about steak?
You guys are making me miss restaurants.
Yeah, we're not
I
on a
know.
local
Oh,
restaurant.
my heart.
I just.
Second quarantine's up. I'm going to Fridays, Outback, and Applebee's all on the same day.
All on the same day.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
We don't have Fridays anymore. They closed our.
We don't either.
They also
Really?
closed down
Oh,
here.
wow.
Too. It
There's
might just be
one.
an issue.
We have one, but it's not exactly in the best area, and it got really bad ratings.
Hmm.
I love the Jack Daniel's sauce from.
Oh,
Chitchat.
right.
Mm.
That's like my favorite thing.
The only reason to go is for the Jack
Yeah.
Daniel's sauce.
And all that syrup.
Oh, I'm so hungry.
we
Today I made a horrible dinner. I had to try something out. I made.
We didn't have a horrible dinner. I cooked chicken cutlets.
Oh,
Good.
we ordered pizza.
I experimented a little because I'm like, we have nothing and we have a lot of Pillsbury the croissants, so I made a pizza out of Pillsbury croissants and it was horrible.
Interesting.
We're still waiting on our Domino's pizza we ordered last week that never was
It
delivered.
never showed up.
I have a
Never
feeling
showed up.
it's not gonna
$20.
show up.
Nothing showed up.
You might need to talk to somebody.
We did.
Pizza Hut has contactless delivery now. You check the box for contactless, and they just leave it on your porch.
I somewhat like Pizza Hut for their buffalo wings, and their pizza's weird, but it's good fake pizza. As a New Yorker, that's how I identify.
Yeah, I've never had New York pizza, so I can't compare. So
The only Brooklyn pizza that me and Chris like to go to is Del Mar. For the win.
You guys have Spumoni Gardens, and you're just like, no.
Spumoni
Yes,
number one.
Yes.
Pony Gardens number one, and the ice cream.
Yeah, the ice is good.
The heart thing. What was it called?
Cold Stone.
Cold Stone. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's the one they have Fridays. Yeah, Cold Stone.
That has nothing to do with the love of LMB. You're just like, you know that Jane ice cream place? Cold Stone? I hear you say Sonic, you get a free ice cream.
Yeah, tell them
He's
you Sonic.
trying to end pizza frontline.
Yeah,
Ice cream frontline.
make it at this point.
I'm hungry. That's it. I gotta have my chips today. All right, but let's get to our last topic, and then please come up with the questions, especially Kickstarter questions. We would love that. So yeah, Dan Didio announced what he regretted the most
This is
for
gonna take up an hour to talk anyway. Let's go.
for the New 52, and it was interesting. It was the second year he felt like he didn't put as much effort, and I think looking back, I love the excitement of the New 52. I love that you had all these new issues and you're like, oh, I could try out this and that. And yeah, I think it did fizzle a bit in year two. And I feel like DC Rebirth promised that same spark of like, oh, here's all these new titles, and that's literally all the titles we got for like 3 years. So I missed that excitement of here's a whole new slate. And yeah, I think in that regard, I can see where he's coming from.
I missed that Dan Didio left and didn't say a word. I wish we can go back to that. Because that was utter garbage what he spewed in that interview. I'm sorry. He regretted year 2 of New 52, and he talked about progressing characters. He started them over again to progress them. Logic?
I mean, it brought a lot of people into DC, right? At the time. It was a positive thing. It brought a lot of people in or brought a lot of people back, and it was a fresh new take. Even if the old classic fans of DC weren't happy with it, it did a lot of good things. And
it brought me in.
Yeah, it brought me in and Mike.
In.
Yeah, so I mean, it had a lot of positives to it. It's just I feel like some of the direction they took with some of the characters didn't resonate with either kind of reader, old or new, over time. So I can totally see that, like going year 2 and forward, how they just kind of got off track.
Doesn't that mean when he said that the plan to leave the New 52 was always there is a lie? Because he said he regretted year 2 of New 52. So that means they really had no intention of going back for Rebirth. They did it because they lost all their fans.
I never really thought they were planning on going back. I thought they were going all in on it, and then they kind of pulled an audible when they figured out it wasn't working.
That's what he said. That's what Dan Didio said.
Yeah.
They went all in the first year, and then when they started to screw up in year 2, they're like, "Oh, we'll just do Rebirth."
We have a question on Silver Stroke who says thoughts on Grant Morrison's Action Comics. I think we actually answered this. I didn't hate it as much as Chris.
I didn't like it at all.
Which one?
That was
Action
the jeans.
Comics.
The jeans.
Yeah, the T-shirt.
No.
T-shirt and jeans, yeah.
I didn't like any Superman. I dropped Superman during New 52.
I'm not a big Morrison fan either. I feel like I say that a lot on the show. I'm not a fan of that person, but it's just, I don't know.
I've been the direction for Superman since.
I wasn't either, and I didn't like that take on the character at all. And just the T-shirt and jeans thing, it just didn't work for me. So I didn't read
When they brought the old Superman back through a series we don't like talking about, Convergence, that's when I started to get interested in Superman again. Mm-hmm. And then they handed it to Bendis, and I just lost interest all over again.
So, Phil, you said you started getting into comics with the New 52. So tell us a little bit about that and your thoughts on Didio's comments.
Yeah, I mean, I had always picked up books before the New 52, but the New 52 is where I really got a pull list, both for DC and then also Marvel. I expanded into X-Men and Spider-Man. Nice. That was when I started actually going to my local comic book store routinely with the pull list. So I think you can't really beat the accessibility of the New 52. When it first came out, it was really new reader friendly in a way that Rebirth wasn't, because it just felt like a retread of something we had gotten a few years earlier.
That's true.
100%. And I started reading characters who I was interested in, but never really had an entry point for. I mean, like, I'm right now a huge Green Lantern fan, but prior to the New 52, like, I was vaguely aware of Green Lantern. I'd read a little bit of Blackest Night, the parts that had tied into some of the Batman comics at the time. But, the New 52 was my gateway. I went back and I read a lot of Aquaman. I read a lot of Green Lantern. I read a lot of Swamp Thing, thankfully. So I definitely think the New 52 had a lot of benefits that first year. I don't think it was super kind to legacy characters. Like, I think I saw a comment complaining about the Teen Titans in New 52, and I completely agree there. Mm-hmm. But
poor Cassie.
I think the Teen Titans were the ones that suffered the most from the New 52.
And Superboy.
But I think you mentioned Aquaman. I think he's one that benefited the most. I think they really did something special with that character.
Yeah, I love that one.
Green Lantern, just because it continued, and same for Batman, it didn't really change much.
They were the least effective.
I think new readers for Batman, when New 52 brought me into Batman, New 52 brought me into Aquaman for a time, and for a little, and it brought me into Animal Man and Swamp Thing, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Well, we do have a question here from Chad. Do you guys have more Marvel or DC books on your pull? I mean, Marvel just because they've released more for us, but Phil, do you have more? Will you have more indies maybe?
I do have more DC books right now. I think I've pretty much always had more DC books, just because I grew up on DC characters a little more than Marvel. But
Same.
at one point I had an even split for a little bit.
I think I'm at that point now where I'm at the even split between Marvel and DC. But like Kat said, Marvel brings out a lot more books. So
I think for me, it's always been more Marvel. Even maybe it gets even at times. I don't think I've ever had more DC than Marvel though.
Same, for sure. Let's get to a next question, and then I think we're going to turn it more into like writing and Kickstarter questions, since we do have Phil here, and we obviously want to promote his Kickstarter, and we're all writers here, so we definitely turn it to that. But top 5 current DC series. This is hard because I don't think I have a top 5.
I don't think so either.
I would have said Dial H, but that's over. Batman White Knight is over. Yeah, White Knight was good, but it's over.
Teen Titans is number 1 for me right now.
Me too. Teen Titans.
Suicide Squad's going pretty strong.
Young Justice is up there for me.
I definitely wouldn't put that on my list.
Well, I don't read a whole lot of DC books. It's kind of hard to.
Teen Titans. Naomi, question mark, even though it's not really going on right now.
Yeah, it's not really coming back. Right
it's not going to come back. I don't think it's coming back.
I think it'll come back, just not anytime soon. Yeah, I guess
Justice
it's only
League.
Titans right now.
No, I'm not enjoying Justice League right now. I haven't for a while.
It's been down for some people, Justice League.
And they keep changing the creators, so.
I'm trying to think of what else I read from DC right now.
I'm not really enjoying. I mean, let me look at my list.
I mean, I'm reading Batman, obviously.
Yeah, I'm not like, oh my god, I love Batman.
Right.
I like
Batgirl right now.
Something.
Not great.
Yeah, I'm not. I dropped it.
Nightwing, I'm reading to see the journey back to him remembering who he really is.
I just started reading Flash again. And
Just
so
started
it's
reading
not-
Flash again too.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad, Mike brought me in on. I'm reading a lot of DC, but I don't. You say top 5, and it's like,
Yeah, what do you love? I think Teen
Right.
Titans is the only thing on my list I like. Oh my god. I
Yeah,
really like this series.
that's the one. It's like I can't wait to read it.
Yeah.
The rest of them will just end up there by default. I think.
Yeah, it's like I read that
So,
book. It's on there.
Yeah, right.
Hopefully, in the next coming year, we'll get some better ones.
Yeah.
Phil, which current books would you say that you really like from DC?
White Knight was really the only thing I was reading routinely right now.
Mhm.
Right now I'm playing catch up, so got nothing.
And you're catching up with Curse of White Knight. Enjoyed Shazam. It just didn't go anywhere, sadly. That's why I
moved pretty
can't put
slowly.
Shazam.
Mhm.
Yeah,
well,
it's still moving slowly.
John's is off the book now, so in another 2 months, when things start coming out again, it should
We'll
be.
see.
We can only hope. Yeah.
Mike Manhattan says, "How about Adam Strange?" I didn't love the premiere. I thought it was okay, and also it's so new. It's hard to say. Also,
I
another
did like
question.
Mr. Miracle, and a lot a lot of hated it. I
love Mr. Miracle. I
I
thought
thought
it was great.
great. I don't know why so many people hated it.
It's just it ended in a way that is very experimental for maybe some people, but I liked it personally.
I love it.
Tevia says, "What about Deceased?"
It's a
Mike
miniseries.
really loves Deceased.
I do. I love it too, but it's an Elseworld. I don't think of it as an ongoing, and it's.
I didn't love it. It was just, it's something on my poll. I'll get the sequel, but I didn't love the first one. This one is Runaways related. Do you think Disney Plus will get Runaways and perhaps renew for a few seasons with Runaways as the
I
June
hope so I could actually enjoy it.
I don't think so, sadly. I think it's kind of the end of the road, but I really love the ending, and it sucks because Phil, me, and Brent both agree on this. The season 3 was the best, and it was starting to get its legs.
That's why I'm
Yep.
saying Disney would have really built it up, I think, a lot.
Yeah, it's good.
I would love for it to come back, but I don't think it will.
That's like me wanting Daredevil and the Defenders to come back for a couple more seasons, but then
That has more of a chance, I think, than Runaways, sadly. But
you
yeah,
recommended
I don't know if
Daredevil to me.
Daredevil fits on. Sorry, Chris.
No, go ahead. Finish yours first. Go.
Yeah,
What were you
I don't
saying?
know if Daredevil fits the brand for Disney Plus, and also
So,
seems like Disney's kind of trying to distance themselves from Netflix. So
yeah, and then
I wouldn't get my
also
hopes up.
they have like Miss Marvel and stuff coming out. So like the Runaways gang, I think is gonna like Miss Marvel. But then like I don't know how they're gonna get that Carolina and Nico Phil for their fans. We'll see what they end up doing. But
I was gonna just blame everybody. Thank you all so much for recommending Daredevil to me. literally almost caught up to all 19 issues.
People love that run.
It's
also
good. I can't believe how good it was, and it went under my radar.
Oh yeah, I have to catch up. Maybe that's a series I'll catch up on just because I've heard so many good stuff.
And Brant put another series, Once and Future, on my list.
That definitely is up your speed. Jesse says, do you read any of the Joe Hill imprints? Okay, I like 2 DC books, Basket Full of Heads and Teen Titans.
I love, although it's ending though, the Dollhouse.
Yeah, everything ends.
Wow, Cat, that's everything ends.
Melancholy.
I mean, that's how I am. All right, well, I guess we could turn it into some like writing stuff, comic stuff. I'm going to put Brant on the spot and tell us something you want us to talk about with writing and comics. I already came up with questions.
Oh, you did? Okay. Man, I wasn't expecting that. What did you already talk about?
Well, we talked about how Phil kind of like what his appreciation of comics was after launching a Kickstarter and making a Kickstarter. He talked a bit about his comic, but I don't know. I want to dig a little deeper into like the writing process that, you know, we're all here. So why not?
What do you like about writing a comic book? Like what gets you to write more and come up with more ideas when writing a comic book?
Phil, definitely, you're always first on this question. We'll go last. So, Phil, what is
I think
about writing a comic book?
Yeah, I think comics are probably the medium that are the most free. You could do anything in a comic book. You could go completely otherworldly. You don't have to worry about a budget. You don't have to worry about readers not visualizing it the way you intended if you were writing something in prose. You know, I think comics, the reason that I have always been so attracted to them is because there's you can dive completely into fantasy. You can really enter another world. You can really introduce another world. And I think that's what attracted me to writing comics, especially. Because go ahead, Kat.
I was going to say, Michael also asks, how do you come up with your ideas, you feel?
I usually start from a character and then build a plot around that. Earlier, I talked a bit about how Haunting, my current comic, came into being. It started on a reflection of a particular protagonist. You know, what the relationship is between a protagonist and the harm that they cause others. I think that's pretty much how I start most of my stories. I rarely start with a concept, I think, just because I tend to favor character writing when I write. But, you know, I think, you know, there's definitely something to be said about having a strong concept and building character around that. If anyone wants to comment on that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I'm the complete opposite of you. You could definitely attest to this. I'll come up with a crazy concept and I'll ask Phil, what do you think? He's like, write it, and then I'll give up on it. Like, I hate this.
He's working on something really cool right now.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying.
Both of you. I'm different from both of you. When I started Celestial Falcon when I was a kid, I literally, as the story was coming through my in my thought, is how I was putting it on paper, which is the worst because you get the writer's block a lot faster because of it. I never really outlined a story. I was 15 years old. I just wrote the story as I literally let it unfold as I was writing it. And I think in all the stories I wrote, I only got like an extreme writer's block twice. But during the second time was where I said, okay, I've got to start planning this out just at least a little bit, have an idea of this story is this story is that, and then let the story take over. I kind of took a Kirkman approach to my story for a while. I let the story tell itself to me, and then I was just the one that wrote it. But I
feel like the free write a bit more.
Yeah, definitely something to be said for free writing.
Yeah, that's how I do most of my stories, was free writing back when I was younger. And then it's more fun now for me because I'm dragging Brant with me, and
Brant's being dragged.
Kicking and screaming.
I didn't finish it. I'm gonna kick Kat out so I can finish, so she doesn't make it sound like I'm dragging Brant by his hair.
By the chains.
I'm taking Brant with me. I'll switch it so Kat doesn't say I'm dragging him, even though I kind of drag him a little bit. But as he's tagging along with me as we're rewriting Celestial, Brant's idea is mixing with mine. I guess I get most excited for that when it's like, okay, here was the original story, but then here's where we went with the story. And it's like to see them side by side and how they parallel. It's a lot of fun. I get excited just for the story itself. And then when the art proofs come in and you start seeing it on paper, it goes from like a 5 to a 10 with excitement. It's just amazing. And you see it, and then the book's done. It's just, I love it. I've always enjoyed writing just for the story. I like to have stories tell themselves to me in a way. Like I come up with the character, I'll come up with the situation, and then I just sit there and I say, okay, well, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. And I love it because, like I said, Brant is coming in on the stories that are written, and we're rewriting them. And it's like he's putting his take in while I had my take. And it's just the way it melds. It's exciting for me. I get excited when Brant and I sit down and we'll pick apart. Because when I write I don't write in comic script. I'm learning to write in comic script, but I have 30 stories that aren't written in comic script to catch up to. So as we're going through it and changing it into a comic script, to see a Brand throw, well, what if we did this instead of going this way? And what if we threw this in early and held that back instead? And it's like, it gets my mind going, oh, what if we did that? And then we do this and then we do that. And it's like, it's fun having a co-writer. I will say that I enjoy it because it gives me the ability to think of things that maybe didn't cross my mind, but at the same time, having somebody else in it also, it says, well, maybe that way is better. And it actually looks amazing when you see it on paper, like I said. So for me, I just enjoy co-writing, but I do like writing certain stories myself and then sharing it. But that's the excitement I have comic-wise, is just watching the story evolve from what it was to what it is. And then to see it on paper, that's the greatest reward for me. And then to hear people enjoy it even more so.
How about you, Brant? I know you've been in the mix of working just today on stuff. So
super excited about a book.
Yeah. I'm working on a remastered version of Ember, and I'm adding all kinds of cool stuff to it. And I just got totally obsessed with it this morning. It's all I did, and then I'm like, oh, I've got to do some actual work. But anyway, no, I used
work, man. That's
yeah,
fun.
I know it is, but I've got.
It doesn't feel like it sometimes because you're just
Right,
you're not
yeah.
getting immediate pay.
Yeah, exactly. So I used to, like when I was younger, I used to do the free writing stuff a lot too, and just kind of let it tell the story. But as I got older and started writing more and more, I think I'm more of a concept writer. I come up with the concept too, Kat.
Yeah.
And then once I have the concept, I really start digging into the characters, because the characters are what excite me, and I feel like that's where I get the most enjoyment out of it, is developing the characters and kind of feeling what they feel and trying to express that the best way I can. So that's what gets me excited, to the point where sometimes I get lost in the characters a little bit, and I have to back up and be like, oh wait, I've got to actually have this happen to finish out this concept that I've based this all on. So, but as far as like where ideas come from, or like what inspires me to write, everywhere, anywhere. Just I'll be watching something or reading something, or somebody will say something, and I'll be like, oh, that'd make a cool comic.
Hey, my Celestial was, I didn't answer that one. I forgot. Celestial was based on my life with a twist. And now, like Brent, see something, watch something, experience something, real life.
How does your character react to that? I think it's very interesting when you have like something happen in life. It's like, oh, well, how would Brom, react to that? How would Chris react to that? So I think that's really cool as well. I guess the next question is a little bit harder, but what do you feel like is the most struggling thing about writing? I think especially now, I hear from a lot of people, especially with coronavirus and quarantine and very little inspiration. How do you get over those hurdles of, I think, again, the little voice in your head of like, this sucks. How do you get over that? Let's go to Phil first. How do you get over the little whispers in your head? And how do you get over, those hurdles?
I definitely think that mental state has a big effect on writing, like you said. Right now we're all kind of stuck in the house. It definitely hurts morale. It definitely hurts the imagination.
Hurts you guys. I've been here.
I think with me, the problem I come across most often when writing is I know where I am, I know where I want to be, and then filling out the middle steps, sometimes getting from point A to B, can be a struggle. I think the best way to combat that, from my experience, is to talk through it with someone else.
Oh, yeah. Again, I called you today.
Especially if that person is a big reader or a big writer. Like Kat said, today she called me and I think we definitely came up with like a really cool idea. I think you had a pretty similar issue where you knew the pieces you wanted, you just weren't sure how to sequence them. You weren't sure if you needed something in between. And
yeah, it was definitely more sequence because it's this story is very much like, oh, there's some flashbacks and stuff. It's interesting. And I don't even think Brant and Chris know this, but I was working on issue 8 of like Father Like Daughter, and I again knew the ending, knew the beginning. And it's a very emotional issue. It's like there's a lot of rawness in it. But I was like, thank you. And I'll say that I told Phil, I'm like, yeah, this is how it ends. And then Phil's like, how about if it ends this way? And I was like, no. He's like, yeah, no, yeah. And it changed the story completely, but it definitely helped me write the whole issue. Sometimes there's just like one little tweak you need and you're like, oh shit, I know the story. I'm so excited. And I think this is the struggle I always have is that, and this is actually one of my writing professors told me this because I told him like, I just feel like I need to get stuff done now because like there's no time. And he said, Kat, it's not a race, it's a marathon. And I think to let yourself live with thoughts is very important. Where like that, like Father Like Daughter issue, I was kind of struggling for, I don't know how long, Phil. I was struggling with that issue for a while. Even issue 7, I was struggling for a while.
We walked away for a little bit too.
Mm-hmm. I walked away, wrote a TV script so long. Somehow that TV script, the thing that I walked away from a lot of projects, as Phil knows.
She was just juggling script to script to script.
I was. And then I was just like, all my frustrations and anxiety wrote a script that I won't say the name of, but both Brant and Phil know about. And it was probably the easiest script I wrote. And just sometimes you have to use your emotions to write a story and sometimes step back from another story and just know that you're allowed to take your time, I think is the best thing. And again, live with your thoughts a bit because then you'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah. And you can always make changes.
Yes, you can always make, and that's something Phil learned with one of his issues where I was just like, well, how about if you do that? He's like, oh, no, I have this outline. I'm like, fuck the outline. Do this.
Same thing she described. She was reading my second issue script and she was like, why are you doing this? And I was like, oh, because this has to happen in the next issue. She's like, throw it away. And I was like, you know what? You're right. And she turned my 6-issue arc into a 4-issue arc, but I think it's a lot tighter, a lot stronger because of that.
Yeah. I had a similar experience with the next issue of Ember. I started working with Nicole as an editor, and
nice.
She came back. Yeah, she came back with these notes, and I'm like, I didn't know how I felt about them at first. It's like I was reading them, like, but I like it. I don't want to change this or that. And then I let it sit for months, and I'm like, as it sunk in, and I'd go back and read her notes again, and I'm like, wow, that's going to make it stronger to. Like her suggestion without giving too much away was basically tone down these parts, combine these parts, and then kind of reorder it this way. And I'm like, oh yeah, that actually makes a whole lot of sense. And it's gonna make things easier going forward because the way I had it, it's gonna drag out and it's gonna slow the story down. So it was like, okay, yeah. So sometimes getting somebody else to look at it, you can get that different perspective.
And I'll say that, I mean, this is hard too, because I think I've read my scripts so many freaking times, just like because you have to. Yeah, well, right? I have what?
You've read them after you wrote them?
Yeah, only once. Yeah, I mean, with like Father Like Daughter, I had to redo the trade, and I have read that so many times that I'm like, get this thing away from me. And I love like Father Like Daughter, but what I was saying is that I think that yes, you've read it a lot, but if you feel like something's not working or you're not excited about a part, you should change it. So, if the answer is do a point A, it's point A to point B. Then no, excite me. What little moment can you add to that point A to point B to make that a good scene? Every scene counts.
A beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah, well, and for sure. But again, I think even if you have a beginning, middle, and end story-wise,
and everything in between.
Yeah, everything in between has to flow. And you have, if there's something wrong, you have to kind of, again, live with that for a little while and understand, okay, why does this not work? And also, I guess on the flip side, too, is that, yes, I think you should listen to all notes. But at the same time, if you have a gut feeling like, oh, I really like this, then you could stick to your guns as well. But I think you have to be very accepting of criticism. There's definitely a balance of understanding your voice, but then also knowing you're not a perfect writer by any means.
Everything.
See, with me, I have Brant, so I won't talk about now. I'll talk about when I was younger, before I knew any of you. I had two instances where I hated a story. One story, the first story that I really didn't like, and I pushed through it actually anyway. And it's the one story I told you, Brant, that is the one that I probably don't want to make into a book or completely redo the whole thing. That one is my least. That is the one story I'd love to go back, like I was just saying with Brent, and redo the whole thing because I didn't like it, but I forced myself to get through it because I knew what the next episode or the next story was going to be. So I was like, let's just get this done. But later on, I did another story and I was feeling the same way. I said, no, I literally took it, deleted it, erased it completely, and I started over again with a different idea, a different concept, and it just, for me, the story got 1,000 times stronger. So I didn't have somebody to bounce things off of. None of my friends were writers. None of my friends cared about my story. So what do you do as a writer when you're the
You force your friends to care. No.
Yeah, you don't know what my friends were when I was younger, okay? They didn't care, and they weren't going to read it. So I literally...
You gotta bribe them.
Yeah, you got to bribe them with money.
I'm not Michael. I don't need...
Wow.
I knew that was coming. I knew it.
For those 1,000 other subscribers, I don't need... No, I deleted it, and through that experience, I got a lot stronger because when I started to write and I didn't feel it, I would either delete the day's worth of writing and try to start again, or I do as much as I wanted and then go back and say, okay, I didn't like this, this, and that. So let's start from this point again and see if we can change it and make it better.
Yeah. Rewriting is very important. I, again, attest to Phil. There's a script I've been working on for 2 years, and I've rewritten it. How many times? It's a completely new story now. But somehow one of your favorite characters of mine are in it. She doesn't exist, but that's your favorite character.
I mean, I just realized what you're talking about. But yeah, I mean, I've read at least 10 different drafts of it. And, you know, I shouldn't say everyone was stronger because, you know, I think it's okay. One thing to bear in mind, if a draft goes backwards, you know, you shouldn't be afraid of making something worse to try something new. Because
it's there. It's worse right now.
I mean, if you make it worse, you could fix it again. It'll teach you another thing that didn't work. But
yeah,
you know, you're not going to find what does work if you don't find what doesn't.
You learn about the characters, though. That's one thing I would say, and I think why you were really intrigued by one character is because I really brought enough depth to these characters that that's what the story is now. As you try to look for the story, it's what Phil was saying. It's okay to rewrite. You should rewrite. Totally. Even if it's tough for you, you're like, oh, I spent all the time this. Like, no, that time you have to think about that as that was your time of learning about the story. It wasn't a waste of time.
I'm so glad I didn't count how many hours I've spent on, you know, haunting on my current comic or really any story I've ever written because, you know, I don't think I want to know how much time has gone into it, but
you don't want to think of that.
Yeah. All of it's an investment in the final product, so all of it's worth it.
Something I don't talk about often is the entire concept for Ember, the very first plot and everything. I completely threw out. Like I wrote the entire thing and I had this whole story plotted out and I
threw it away.
I read it again. I'm like, this is so like derivative and like nothing about it is unique, and it's just like it's the obvious thing you would do with a character like this, and I'm like, no, this is garbage. So I threw the entire thing out and started from scratch all over again, and it's so much stronger now because of it.
Yeah, sometimes you have to. Like Valley Daughter is the same way. I talked about this. I wrote that as a screenplay, and it's very different. I mean, some of the beats are similar. I could finally announce this because if you haven't read issue 5, but yeah, the Jessica reveal. So Jessica is the mom. Okay, spoiler alert for like Valley Daughter. The mom. Spoiler alert! I like Valley Daughter, but you definitely want to hear this. The idea of Jessica, the mother, being a KGB agent was always in the script, but I kind of figured that out through the screenplay towards the end of that script. And so that's still there, but there's another ending that I'll say that people disagree with or they agree with, and it's going to get a lot of people angry. That has stayed the same. And I would say Casey's journey has changed a little bit in issue 8, but yeah, all the beats are different because I feel like I've learned about the characters more because of those revisions. Like Stephanie has completely changed as a character throughout, and I think Wes has become more developed. So yeah, it's interesting to kind of see that throughout. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, we have maybe about 15 more minutes for the show. So
one that I have a funny answer to, and that's this one.
So what's your funny answer?
My funny answer is, if I was given Superman, I'd give it to Dan Jurgens. I wouldn't write it. I love
You
Superman.
wouldn't write it.
I could never write Superman. I love Superman to death, but I do not want to write Superman ever.
If I wrote
I could.
Superman, I'd probably make it more about the super family. I would really like to see more of them like
And
interacting with
Supergirl.
each other. Yeah, like Supergirl, Superboy, like in every issue. I'd really like to see that. How about you, Brent?
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I never thought about writing Superman.
I love reading Superman. I don't think I could. I would always criticize myself as not being my story not being good enough.
I mean, I think it would be a balance between all aspects of his life for me. There would be Daily Planet stuff. There'd be stuff with Lois and John, and then there would be the family stuff. And I don't know exactly how I would handle it. I'd have to think about that.
The first comic script I ever wrote when I was in high school was actually a Superman comic.
Really?
I'm airing my fan fiction to you now. I realize, but I don't care.
You know, one fan fiction that I want to read that Julius has teased that.
Oh yeah. You're never going to. I don't know if Julius is still watching, but you're never going to read that. But anyway, I always thought a cool Superman story would be to pit him against the Riddler. The vision I had was that Riddler decides like that he wants to try to take on Superman if he can't beat Batman, and pit Superman against someone who prides themselves on being intellectual and trying to leverage Superman's strength against him, his strengths against him. So, I don't think it would be
That's
like
cool.
an epic story, but
you don't need it. You need a character-driven story. It doesn't have to be epic. It has to be epically written. Another question I have about writing, and again, if you guys have more, let us know, is, I think a lot of times we have to bite our tongues with where we're going with a story, but I'm going to put you guys on the spotlight here, and say, can you tease about something that you're really excited for people to read?
Nope.
No, you have to. You got to tease it.
Chris, come on. Give them something.
I've
been begging you to give certain aspects, and he will not do it, and I'm frustrated.
You have to tease a little bit, yeah,
because it would sell the story so much better.
Nope. It's coming soon.
Oh my god! So when you read it, when you promote issue 2, you're just gonna be like,
"Here's what I'm holding back." Exactly.
And you gotta promote. You gotta have your solicit. You gotta have your log line.
Ready. Go ahead, Brent. You go ahead and say something, but I don't think you could because I know what I would say.
All right, Brent. You say it for both of you.
No,
Celestial?
I don't think he should, though. I think Go ahead, Brent. If there's something you could tease.
All I'll say is there's a supernatural element to it that people aren't expecting from it. So that's
a fair one that doesn't give away what I would. Okay.
That's a good tease.
I would say more if he would let me, but
okay. I'll tell you what. 11/19. We're stuck inside with the coronavirus. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. It's your book.
I want you to. I want you to.
I want you to drag Brent around.
Can you just start reading the script?
If he doesn't say what I'm thinking,
what are you thinking? You go first. It's your book. I've got something to say about Ember. So let
Brent promote his own book.
It's supernaturally connected. Go ahead. Go about Ember.
Oh God! Geez. You almost got him.
I know. It was so close.
I'm not in cabin fever yet. I'm used to being at home.
I get it.
Next week.
With Ember down the line, there is a huge world-changing twist that nobody's going to see coming. That kind of further cements it into a fantasy story.
Why do you think that people are going to be excited for it, Brent?
Because I think one of the reasons people are drawn to it is because I promise like these tie-ins with mythology and different things like that, and it's kind of a modern fantasy more than a superhero kind of thing, and kind of further cementing it in that world, making it more of a definitive fantasy type story. I think people are going to be on board with that. So.
How about you, Phil?
Well, obviously I have a whole first issue that I'm excited for people to read, but if we're talking more far future, I think the twist at the end of issue 3, which you read, Kat, the introduction.
I do like. I think that's where it really like character-wise starts picking up. My opinion.
Yeah, I'm very excited. It's a big character. I mean, this doesn't mean much when the first issue isn't out yet, but it's a new character introduction that I'm very excited to make, and kind of shakes up the dynamic of the series.
All very different personalities, which is really cool because you love that in an ensemble cast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I could give something for Celestia. I give something for issue 2.
Woo.
Okay, issue 1, we had Chris questioning if he was special, right?
Yes.
Issue 2, he's going to find out.
Finds out he is.
And here's the kicker. I don't know if he can handle it.
Ooh, big tease. Conflict in a story?
You should write that down.
Story.
You want that tagline? You want that tagline when it goes live?
Super special.
Oh man, that was a huge spoiler. You heard it here, guys.
Spoiled issue 2 now. Nobody's going to want to back it.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
canceling right now.
Because
Unsubscribe.
teasing people what an issue is about never sells the issue, Chris.
No,
Never.
Not at all.
Never. Yeah, for me, stuff I'm excited for. Really excited for you guys to read issue 8 because it changes the whole book once again. If you thought issue 5 was a big twist, issue 8 will blow your mind. And then after that, I'm really excited to explore more of the supporting cast members. We get to see a little bit. The next arc after issue 8 is a Stephanie-driven arc. And in issue 7, you get a bit more about her family and a bit more about her as a character and why she's different from Casey, which is a lot of fun because I love their friendship. And we're going to see a lot more of that in the upcoming issues of just her journey. So we got to see her as the support system of Casey, and I think Casey needs to be there for Stephanie. That's what I'll tease for the next arc.
I asked Brent what he'd tease. Really?
I would, because I think that's
joking, or are you like serious?
I'm serious because I think that's something that people aren't expecting. I mean, it comes out in issue 2 anyway, right?
I think you have to show that your book is different than others.
Yeah, you can say it a little vaguely, but you don't. I don't think you need to hide it completely.
I feel like I spoil it somehow by saying that. So you would say it's just the way you wrote it.
If you leave out how it affects characters, that doesn't spoil it. But if you mention that it involves that aspect,
okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Right, okay. So the story concept that we're going to get revealed in issue 2, which I don't understand how this isn't a big spoiler, but angels and demons are definitely going to come into play in the second issue. And we find out what the terms mean in this universe. And let's just say that everybody's going to get caught in the middle of the war between angels and demons.
That's a good tease.
Yeah, that's a big.
That doesn't reveal too much. I feel like
I don't think it does.
What I call a log line. Log line.
I want to see what that world looks like now.
Yeah. Because when you just say a boy is troubled, he has a secret, that's every other book.
That's me.
I know that.
That's you, Phil.
That's me. He's writing my life story.
Oh, for sure.
Well, you know what? Then I was writing my life story, so we must have the similar life then.
My name is actually Chris.
Knew it.
His middle name is Chris.
He came in and I said, that's a Chris. That's not a Phil.
One thing that Phil
have 2
knows
Michaels and 2 Chris's.
There's so many Chris's, so many Michaels.
Please, one Mike.
There'll be another Mike somehow. And so in a story, I'm definitely going to write a Mike, just that way we have another Mike in the running here. But one thing that Phil knows is stories I like is a girl in a man's world just has a secret. So is that you, Phil, or no?
We always like the joke whenever I'm watching a movie and it has a female lead and she experiences anything akin to being in a man's world, I immediately text her. I'm like, oh, you got to watch this, Kat. They're stealing your ideas.
They're stealing your ideas. I mean, one show really did steal my idea. There's a couple of shows that really did, but I'm over it.
I get a text at least once every 2 weeks saying some insert show, movie, book, etc. here stole my idea.
They do. Watchmen. Well, I can't even say them or else they're spoilers. Never mind.
I get that from Chris all the time.
Oh, one major thing that was stolen from me that I was so pissed off about. You know what?
What, Chris Kent?
No.
Oh, that
from Celestial. That was.
Oh, from Celestial. Oh, yeah, that.
You know exactly. I can't say it yet, but that.
It's that's something that came into play in a certain
other book
fairly recently.
Yeah.
There you go. So actually another question, since we're kind of on the topic, and I guess if someone could answer for the other person, they should too. What themes do you feel like you write a lot in your books? We'll go to Phil first because he's our guest.
Answering for myself or for you?
You can answer for me when I'm up. I'll answer for you when you're done. Well, actually, I'll say it for you because I've read your stuff, and then you can say it for you.
Why don't you go first so that I don't taint your answer?
For you, though, I'm going. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going for you. Okay.
Yeah.
What I think.
You're going for you and him.
Yeah. So what I think that Phil enjoys writing. Let's see. I would say, boy, coming of age, like middle school kids. You really like that age, and because it's hard with Bram, I think you really enjoy kind of the numbness. I think you enjoy exploring that. Coming of age, like I said. Let's see. I think, yeah, because I've only read 2, like that in your short story, and that's what I've gotten from your. So it's a little harder for me. You've read,
I've read
a lot of mine.
That's fair.
I would say, yeah, coming of age, digging deeper into the character's psyche. They're not exact, like what they present is not exactly who they are.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think I definitely prefer to write younger protagonists who are still kind of growing and figuring themselves out.
Like, I feel like middle school is the age.
All right, middle school, early high school age, let's say like 12 to 15. Just because, I feel like that's a period of learning who you are. And you continue to grow as an adult too. So, that, of course, I'm not trying to negate that, but I really like that like raw, like new to the world moment in your life where it's literally all about figuring out who you are and how you fit in the world. And I guess the other thing I tend to write is, I think I like to write, kind of a dark, like you said, numb, like a dark, unfeeling world that, isn't really going to stop and ask if anyone's okay. But, in that kind of dark world, there are good people, and that, once you find them, they can help you change. I think that's a commonality in most of the things I write. I started thinking about this when we realized the woman in a man's world thing was your thing. So I just sat and looked at everything I wrote, and I was like, what is in everything? And I think that's where I land.
There was a, not that we could, I don't remember if it was a spoiler or not, but there was a joke I had from one of your recent issues that you're like, you always do this.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if we could say that.
I really like it when people get captured.
He always captures somebody in the end of his stuff.
Because then they're stuck somewhere and they have to talk. It's fun.
He loves bottle stories a lot.
This right now, this quarantine where we all are captured and we can't leave, it's like perfect for me. Bringing all the drama out.
You know what I noticed I always include in my stories, and I have no idea why. I always include somebody tripping. I don't know why. I just noticed that I was reading back Ember, and I'm like,
trademark.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I will say my big ones that are
Celestial with you and Lisa putting that in my book. That makes sense now.
Oh yeah.
Someone has to trip. So we got capturing, tripping. My small ones that I have is someone's got to touch someone's shoulder. It's just always someone's touching someone's shoulder and someone's eating something. But something weird.
Yeah, people eat a lot in my books. Especially Celestial. Like every other page, somebody's eating something.
Yeah, my character eating cereal too. It's like, man, all of a sudden my characters are really hungry.
Always hungry.
Nobody eats in my comics. I have to fix that.
They're always starving. Yeah, they're always really starving.
My poor emaciated character.
To my characters.
The problem. This is totally off topic, but the problem I always had when I played Sims was I never made anybody go to the bathroom, so they were just like suffering all the time.
Just like not now.
Knowing my character went to the bathroom.
Yeah, you just have to let him eat. Got to let him go to the bathroom. But yeah, for Brant, and I guess Chris could probably answer for you a little bit better. Maybe I'll give my 2 cents if I can. But for Brant, I guess, well, Chris, you should answer for Brant. What do you think is the common theme in his books?
Brant's amazing with fantasy, but he does such a great job with superhero writing as well. I mean, we keep talking about wanting to leave our norm and do something different, like with a horror theme to it. We were talking about something, and for me, I like to touch on a little bit of everything. And there's this one specific story, and I was like, Brant, we got to try this. But Brant always hits me. I mean, every time I think of Brant, I think about the fantasy stuff like Ember with powers and supernatural kind of
fantasy. Though that's what I would say. He's very good at worlds that I particularly would be interested in, and just making it very grounded and real.
And then he's also got this talent of creating a book that everybody wants to read but hasn't published yet, and keeps saying, "Yeah, next year I might do it. Next year, next year after next." Still waiting for that Wannabes #1. Still waiting for that Wannabes #1.
He does like to tease.
I freaking love Wannabes. I love the one issue he shared with me, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to redo it. Year's 2020. I want to see what year we're going to
eventually.
Visions maybe. 2020. So Brant, besides tripping and making your characters not go to the bathroom, what do you feel like is your theme for a book?
Well, I also like writing coming of age characters. Maybe a little bit older than Phil. I like the 15 to 19 range. Because I feel like, for me personally, that's kind of where I started figuring things out and everything. So it's just kind of this age that resonates with me. And it's also like there are different themes in Spider-Man that have always stood out to me, and it's those type of characters that I like to write, kind of the underdogs, the ones you don't expect, the ones that don't have everything figured out. So I think those are the kind of characters I deal with more than anything. So
Smallville was a huge inspiration with me also, like Grant just said.
With Chris's writing, it's kind of funny because I think Chris prides himself on writing hopeful characters, but in reality, he writes introspective characters that are always kind of down on themselves and trying to figure things out. It's
always taking a walk on a boardwalk or a beach. And
yeah.
I like to give characters. See, it's true. The hopeful comes in with them being in that kind of like, this is because that's what my life was in junior high and high school. I was always down on myself or down on whatever because, life was sucky. It was. And then it's like you find these things, like I found certain things that made me hopeful again. So that's why, and Brant's got me 100% with that one. And it's true. There are stories that Brant still hasn't read that actually him saying that makes me think, oh, yeah, that's right. That person thinks his life is shit too at the beginning and then realizes that his life isn't as shit as it could be at the moment. So it's true. I like to give characters problems that they have to overcome.
Conflict. All right, Phil.
I said conflict.
Conflict. Center of a story. So Phil, besides a woman in a man's world, and I guess Brant could chime in if he wants, but what do you think I write? And I'll give an answer besides the woman in a man's world.
Music. I think.
For sure.
I think music and characters' relationships to music are very important to you.
So we should call Cat Dudette of Rock and take away.
Yeah, I think so. You know what's so funny? I will only tease this to you won't know the story, but Phil will get it. I can't use songs to in comics or else it's copyright or I have a fear of copyright. But there's a book I'm working on right now where I wanted this girl's dancing in a club and I wanted the song "Dancing's Not a Crime" to play. And I'm like, can't do it. So I thought it would fit well. But music going to people. I think that's definitely true. I love that a lot. Especially in comics. I've always been really fascinated with that. And for me, I think psychological stories. So I would say anything I could go into, like dive into mental health in some regard and how that affects a person's life is what I tend to write about. A lot of PTSD and a lot of just mental health in general.
Every story has PTSD, I think.
Every story has a little PTSD in it. I'm trying to think. Casey just has anger issues.
She is very angry. Yes,
she is. I think I've given the origins of that on the show, but Wayne drew Casey very angry, rightfully so, because of her personality. But ever since then, I was like, you know what? Casey's just got a lot of anger issues that she's got to work out. But I don't know if she has any PTSD. I think the girl goes through a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still don't think. I think what happens is not going to cause her PTSD.
Somebody's getting PTSD. I don't know who. I don't know.
I
when,
think
but it's
Stephanie somehow will get PTSD before Casey gets PTSD.
Love it.
Yeah, Steph is. I hope not, because I don't want to hurt my girl, but she has an eye patch in the story, so she's gonna get hurt. I'm sorry, Steph. We gotta hurt our characters.
To your point about kind of using the art to give or to realize that you wanted to give Casey anger issues. I think it's another really beneficial part of the comic making process. How art can sometimes change the way you view the characters.
Yeah.
I'm only 2 issues in right now, and already I can feel the way I think about certain characters changing a little bit just based on both feedback from my artist and the way that things look when they're drawn out. So going back to the first question we talked about.
It all goes back to circle.
And Michael, if you were going to be a writer, what would you write?
Yeah, what would you write about?
I could have said nothing for the past 40 minutes.
I know.
Sorry, Mike.
I mean, I would write.
If you say Mario, I'll hit you.
I would read a Mario comic.
I was going to say something video game related.
Okay, what would you write? Video game related.
What's the story you've always wanted to tell with Mario?
Some boy who grew up playing video games, and then on his journey, his
name's Michael.
He goes into a competition, and then he becomes the champion of the world.
That's a cool anime.
They actually made a movie. Fred Savage was in a movie similar to that. He traveled across to enter a Nintendo tournament.
Yeah, but something. Yeah, the Nintendo Championships thing. But it's actually some in a tournament where it's first he's an amateur, and then he trains himself to become a pro, enters tournaments, and then becomes champion in the end, and faces another person who's a champion. It just becomes a big.
That sounds more like a TV series, actually. I could see that on TV.
Again, anime. I can see it as a 13 episode. I'm just seeing the theme song right now. And then all the villains.
That would make a good anime.
Anime. You got Food Wars, which is a good anime. And there's a few that have concepts that would outreach into video games. It's true. Maybe.
I think it could be very parody-like too, which would be really fun. I don't know. I feel like you could have a really fun
Call of Duty guy, the Smash Bros. Guy.
And it's just this normal dude who's this Mary Sue who defeats them all.
Julia
and you see how Pokemon's a good one.
Yes, Pokemon. I would love to see what somebody would change Pokemon into to make it actually, to keep the concept of Pokemon, but you can't use the name Nintendo.
I mean, Digimon.
Japan.
Yeah.
Me and Phil have very opinionated opinions on Digimon.
Opinionated opinions.
Opinionated opinions.
I'm very dedicated to Digimon.
Yeah. We rant about Digimon a lot during our group text.
Digimon are the champions.
Digimon. I watched it before or after our school. One or the other.
Good show. We do have Chad who says, Phil, just bought in. Hopefully I don't get burned. Have been twice on Kickstarter. I don't want autograph option. Good luck. I don't think you'll get burned. You're gonna get the comic, which is great.
Yes. You will not get burned.
He will not light his book on fire and send it to you. He promises.
It's real. It exists, and you will get it. Thank you very much for supporting.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'll make a note to autograph.
Yeah, I will autograph the comic. Don't worry.
You'll get both of our autographs.
Yeah, it'll be Comic Uno on there. It's really nice. Where do you want me to sign it, though?
Sign it right over the logo.
Right over the logo.
It is actually Comic Uno issue number 1.
It's about this girl who just wants to be the best in the world.
Yep, and steals other guys' comics. Yep.
I'm a girl in a man's world, so I
you're
just
gonna
kill
go through and
everyone's.
you're gonna turn him into a girl everywhere he appears. Put headphones on so he's listening to music.
Oh, for sure.
Yu-Gi-Oh and Digimon were the best.
They were pretty solid.
We actually had a writing question earlier. I don't know if you.
We did.
What's the question?
When writing a story, what do you want your readers to be left feeling? Scared, reassured, fuzzy, and warm? Other things?
Mind fucked is mine. Sure, I love a good twist, and I love when people are just like, "What?" And that's the feeling I want.
I love to get people to think, and then when the story's over, I like to give a little bit of inspiration, for sure.
That's a good answer. How about you, Brent? Or Phil?
All right, Brent, go ahead.
Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, I would say depends on the time. I mean, I think every single one of those feelings I would want to elicit at one point or another, but
Sure.
you want different feelings to land at different times.
Yeah, I guess my thing is I just want people to feel connected to the characters I'm writing in whichever way that means for you. So,
I think it's always interesting when someone gets something out of a story you didn't originally put in, right? Like you're like, oh, I didn't see that, but that's cool.
Like anger issues.
Like anger issues. I've got a lot of that. So Casey, yes, has anger issues. We do have another question. Tevia, what character would you love to write from any universe? Let's not do the obvious though, because we can all say Spider-Girl, you know.
I personally only like writing like characters that no one would know. So I don't feel like I do justice to like Spider-Man or Spider-Girl or something. I like reading them more.
What character that people don't know would you want to write?
That's a good one.
You're getting paid. Someone's giving you a paycheck.
I would love to try a Spawn story. That would be cool.
There's $1 million on Kickstarter. I guess no one knows him.
I don't know if Spawn's relevant right now.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
how many people read Spawn that's sitting in this chat right now?
I mean, we don't count.
Oh, you don't count. How many people?
That's the other guy. I mean,
how many people in chat read Spawn?
Well, I'm saying of our usual cast, 2/5 of us read it, right?
I don't even know if Mike still reads it. I think he's behind.
Yeah, but he does read it. He has read it.
Oh, we have one person that reads Spawn.
Also one never.
So Chris said Spawn. What would your... I don't even know if you should say your pitch or not, because you never know. But I'm
not going to say my pitch because I don't know what my pitch would be. I'd have to sit there and think about what I want to write.
How about you, Brant? What's a character that, again, can't pick New Warriors or Spider-Man?
Aspen from Felon. Felon from Aspen.
I like that.
I think, yeah.
That'd be cool. Mine? I've said this to Phil, and I've given him my pitch on this. I think I told you guys this before. You know what I'm going to say?
I know what you're going to say.
You say it.
Carol Ferris?
Carol Ferris, yeah. That's definitely the one. I've given my pitch to Phil, and he really likes that one. I want to write that one day. 6-issue miniseries. I think it's something that hasn't been done with Carol, and it makes her own character. So, Phil, how about you?
Yeah, I think I have a lot of characters I would love to write. One that comes to mind, I would really like to write Faith from Buffy.
So you just want to write every Faith character ever imagined.
I know. I thought about not saying it because I didn't want to bring another Faith into the mix, but she was the first that comes to mind. I love the idea of a dark slayer and the journey that she's been through, and I feel like I would love to write her both later in life after she's developed and kind of learned like the lessons she learned through the course of the series and the follow-up comics, but also at the beginning of her journey. I feel like she would be so much fun to write anywhere. But I
doesn't have enough, I think. I have actually a really good last question. I do want to hear Michael of who he would want to write, but I have a good last question for the writing stuff.
Sonic.
Well, yeah, I was gonna actually say Sonic.
What would you want to write with him?
Like what do you mean? Like the story? Like
yeah. What do you feel like you could add to the character?
Like he would go like find Chaos Emeralds, or like the origin of how he becomes supersonic.
That'd be cool. Origins of Supersonic.
Yeah.
So my last question, and I know some of us have read future issues, so try not to go in spoilers, but if you could write the other person's character, what would you like to see from that character?
Oh. Well, I do write
Celestial. I do this for a living, guys. Just saying.
Doesn't mean we have an answer for all your questions.
I interview for a living.
Let me think
you have the answer.
Yeah. Let me think of a non-spoiler answer.
I can't speak on Phil's, obviously, because I haven't read it. But
well, from the concept, maybe like what you would want to see. Phil, you know the stuff you're allowed to spoil. So if you want to spoil whatever in that regard, you're allowed to. If that helps you. But for Phil, what were you gonna say, Phil?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were asking me to answer, but you go first.
No, I was gonna say for your story, without spoiling. Shit.
I have my answer for you. I would want Casey to get an arch nemesis.
Okay, I like that.
That's good.
Yeah, I think up to this point in like Father Like Daughter, we've had antagonists.
Her dad doesn't count.
We've had antagonists and conflicts. Let's say I'll call
Her
her
mom
dad
doesn't count.
Her dad, she was in the antagonist category. But
No, she's arch nemesis.
yeah, I want someone who despises Casey and who Casey can despise in return. So
that's hard. I never everything's so gray.
Everything is gray, but I think the world you've built is, most invulnerable being the only actual superhero. I'd like some more color added to it, like in a colorful antagonist.
I like that. So Brandon, Chris.
I know something. I got something.
I'd like to steal Phil's answer.
No, you gotta pick a new one.
I'm selling it right now.
Yeah,
no, you gotta pick a new answer. So Chris, you go, and Brent, you think about it.
I can't say this situation, but Brent will know it when I say it. But I'd love to make wannabes part of a situation that happens later on in my universe where other beings with abilities would happen. So instead, I would change the wannabes' origins to connect with that event and have them spin out of that event and have Brent write it.
Okay.
Sounds like a lot of work.
No, Brent knows the event, and technically the event isn't much different from how he did his. It is different, but it's something.
It's actually similar. Yeah, it actually could work.
Enough that
it's kind of funny.
I'm hoping that maybe it would. If wannabes isn't out by them, maybe it will. I would love to see wannabes in my universe. I think they would blend in great with some of the characters or other heroes that will be around.
For anybody that's not familiar with wannabes, it's the very first comic I ever did back in 2008, and it's about a bunch of people who think they have superpowers but really don't. So.
But now with the event, you wouldn't know if they didn't anymore, because maybe they did, but maybe they don't.
It's always been a question. Yeah.
I was gonna say tomorrow Brandt's gonna launch it.
I would love for him to launch it through the universe we're creating. They would fit in so good with so many different characters in the universe.
That would be fun. I'm gonna answer for everybody. So let's see. For Chris, I would like to see more of the supporting characters. I want to see an issue that doesn't have Chris. I want to see that.
That was something we were working on.
Yeah, I just want to see more of the support. Like, I just want to see no Chris in an issue. For Brandt, Last Ember, I want to see. I always want to see more high school life. I want to see how she balances her life. And
you will like issue 2.
Cool. All right. So there, and then for Phil, this is hard because I know his future of his book. So I'll say the thing I want to happen is going to happen. And I got really excited, and it's something we already teased. It's the character that's showing up that I'm really excited about. So
I'm glad to know I've preemptively delivered on what you want.
I mean, I want that in every story.
Deluxe edition of Celestial Falcon, then.
Awesome. I'm always excited for that. So, Chris, you said Brant. I know you, Grant, you haven't. So for me and Chris, so go for all three of us if you can. If you don't know enough about Phil, that's okay.
Yeah, I don't know enough yet, sadly. I will later on. But for Chris, it's similar to yours. I would do a spinoff with the other characters, and that's kind of what we were planning on doing at one point.
I would have loved that. Honestly, I would have loved that because it would have taken pressure off of it being in the main book also.
Yeah, with Sammy as the lead.
Always girl power.
Yeah, for you, Kat, man, Phil took the best one. It's all right.
Kill Casey.
Huh? Kill Casey. Yeah.
Kill Casey? That'd be a fun
book.
Kill
Casey. Yeah.
Who needs a lead?
Make a new lead character, kind of like what Invulnerable had for a time.
I would just like to see her world expanded beyond, it's focused mainly on her family and her school, obviously. I would like to see more of her world.
You definitely will, for sure. So that's going to be exciting. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I thought it'd just be something fun and different because, no comics, so why not talk about a different topic than, let's talk about Superman and, Batman or whatever. And also we had Phil on.
Yeah.
which we did because, it's a comic book podcast. So we talked a little bit about it, but mostly writing, which is cool. So Phil, if you could plug your Kickstarter one more time for the people that didn't get to hear about it.
Sure. We're Haunting #1 on Kickstarter. Check it out. It's a supernatural horror series. We follow a bratty and irresponsible teen who raises the dead wherever he goes. We're really proud of how it turned out, and definitely recommend you check it out on Kickstarter. Thank you guys.
Sorry, going to say?
I was just going to say thank you all for having me, guys.
It literally went up as you were talking. That's
nice.
Yeah, I caught it. That's awesome. I caught it.
Oh, good. We went up a bit since we started. Thank you guys so much, everyone who supported.
So one thing I'm going to do. So for anybody that backs up The Haunting, I have a 6-page mini story I did for the trade. It has not been officially released for Like Follow Like Daughter. Lisa colored it. I will give that for free. I'm going to give the email to Comic Frontline. All you have to do is email and show a screenshot that you backed up the Haunting, and you will get that free comic. So just back it up, email us, and that is the deal I'm going to do for you. Exclusive for Frontline viewers.
Nice.
Thank you.
No problem.
Here's our email. Yep.
So please email, show that you backed it up.
That's awesome.
All right,
No problem.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
We're going to round out the show now. We hope you all enjoyed this really fun and special show this week. Comic Book Weekly will be coming back next week. Regular time, regular place. I'm trying to find the graphics. So here we go. 10 p.m. Eastern every week here on YouTube as we wait for new comic books to come out. You can follow all of us right here on our social media. But before we go, does anybody else have anything they'd like to talk about, Michael?
Go back up Phil's Kickstarter.
Yes.
Woo.
Do that.
Do it. Now, Michael, I know you have something you want to say. Say it.
No, we already established it earlier.
Say it as
again.
we're ending the show, damn it.
I didn't hear it.
So on my YouTube channel, Durock18, just a few subscribers away from 2,600.
Oh, that I did hear it.
Yes, so hopefully when we see that hit over that mark, I will definitely post a 2,600 subscriber special, and it's going to be awesome. So definitely go check it out, and awesome stuff there at Durock.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, with wide variety of videos and stuff. Just
subscribe to Dude of Nintendo World today, right now.
Right now. And I will have some really interesting videos popping up on my channel as we wait for new comic books as well. So keep an eye out on my channel. There might be certain top fives happening. So thank you all so much for being here.
I've got something.
Oh, you do? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we still have our giveaway going on. You can check it out at torchnightgames.com/stayhome. That is our board game giveaway, and we're doing very well on it. It's running through April 30th, so you still have plenty of time to enter.
Nice. Definitely go check it out.
Kat, do you have anything? So I don't cut anybody else.
Go support Phil's Kickstarter. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I do have something. Tomorrow,
have to do it again.
I do. I'm so
How
sorry.
selfish, Kat.
I didn't think about it. Tomorrow, I have an interview on my channel with the writer of Spider-Woman, and she's writing Betty Page. She's gonna be talking about Betty Page. So go check that out. It's at 3 p.m. Eastern time on my channel.
Sweet. So till next week, everybody, take care. We hope you have a wonderful, safe week. We'll be back here next Tuesday again. And yeah, see you all next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.